UFC 316. The man is back. It's officially Suga Sean fight week. And listen, bro, I thought because you've given the fans so much of a treat, you've given us gifts over the years, I got to get you something. Okay. So I'll start off with this one. I know you recently upgraded the warehouse, right?
Yep.
Right? So I figured, man, maybe I can get this guy some music, something to enjoy in the warehouse. So we'll start off with this one right here. A little Lupe Fiasco for you, so you can play Superstar in the warehouse when you're kicking it, watching the fights.
Damn, so you put this on a little spinner thing?
Yeah, it's vinyl, and vinyl always sounds better, I thought.
Damn, that's badass. I need to get me a little vinyl thing. Thank you, G.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, so I mean, I've always got inspired by a guy named Nardwar, who was like an interview from Vancouver. He would always give people records, so I thought, hey man, I'll give Sean O'Malley a record.
I like that. That's cool. Thank you.
Let's talk about this, right? Happy Gilmore 2's coming out, and I think one of my favorite scenes in the original one was when Shooter McGavin hired the guy to chirp Happy Gilmore. Mm-hmm. Tim can't talk in the corner, so are we going to have Jimmy Gambles and Schmitty calling Merab a jackass?
That is their job. That is their mission this weekend, Saturday night. They're the chirpers. And Steve always does it regardless.
Yeah, Steve and Henry had some beef back in the day. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I heard the story on the podcast this week, the owl tattoo, the significance of the last one. Have we seen an owl this week? Are the vibes going to be good?
The day before I left, white owl sitting in my tree. It was cool. It was really cool.
Back at home?
Back at home.
That's a good sign,
Great
boys.
sign. I loved it. I smiled.
I got another question for you. This one goes back all the way to, we're going to go 2016.
Okay.
We're going a ways back. I wanted to ask about this because now you're selling out arenas. You're selling ridiculous amounts of tickets. This tweet says, sucks signing $800 contract and selling over $1,200 worth of tickets to get in the mail that I'm not selling 100 tickets. Like, what was that all about?
That was boxing. That was a boxing fight. I was promised like $800, and the day of the fight, they're like, "Hey, you didn't sell 100 tickets. You get paid $100." I was like, "I didn't know I was supposed to sell 100 tickets." And they're like, "Well, you gonna fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fight." So that was a boxing fight.
So even though you sold $1,200 worth of tickets, they still only paid you $100 because that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the fight game. So that's funny. I didn't even know I tweeted that. That's hilarious.
way back in 2016.
Yeah.
I was talking to Aljo back in the day. This was after the Aljo fight, and he said something very interesting to me. He said Sean O'Malley was doing so much in there, and it's so different when you fight him in there because his movements and his fakes and things like that, it almost throws you off to the point where you have to go and circle and reset. Talk to me about that, because like when you watch it from an outside perspective, we don't necessarily get to see all these things, but he had the firsthand perspective and said, man, there were points when I didn't even know what he was doing, so I had to circle out.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate description of how that fight played out. It was confusing him, keeping him busy without really doing too much. So yeah, that's something I feel like that stands out in my style and my skill set that I have above a lot of people. And yeah, that's true.
So with the previous injury then, do you feel like you were able to do those things in that last Merab fight, or has he not seen those fakes and feints yet?
I guess we'll have to find out. But yeah, the injury definitely didn't help the training camp. I just wasn't as prepared as I needed to be in there, and I wasn't able to prepare because of the injury. So yeah, he'll see a completely different me.
Realistically, I know you're gonna say, "Hey man, the wrestling's gonna cancel itself out because I've gotten a lot better." Realistically, like you talked about damage in the last fight, right? Is there a world where he's able to still get more takedowns, but you're able to land more damage that's going to succeed the amount of takedowns that he has?
Yeah, I think so. It just depends on how the judges score it. Maybe I rock him hard and he gets a takedown. It's like, and doesn't do anything with the takedown, but holds me there. Does the judge score the me rocking him, wobbling him, or do they score that he took me down? So I don't know. It depends on the judges. Ideally, this fight doesn't even go to the judges. I'd like to get him out of there.
Tim said in the lead up, he said we got to let it fly, and we got to let it fly. Or this leads me to my next gift. We also got to pull the trigger, right? We also got to pull the trigger. So that leads me to my next gift. I heard you're a fan of this guy, so I knew he put a book out there. This is his book.
Oh hell yeah! I've read his first book. It was a great first book, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Double gift. Thank you, brother. I didn't get shit for you.
No, that's okay, brother.
Merab out Saturday. I'll do that.
Sean O'Malley, last message out there. I know the boys are tuning in. All the boys from Happy Dad, all the Nelk boys are going to be locked in. What do you got to tell those boys before Saturday night?
No, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone that's going for me, going against me. Saturday night, it's gonna be a Boston memory. Like, that was crazy, and I feel like that's another one of those is coming.
Sean O'Malley hopping the cage, standing outside. Nelk boys are crushing Happy Dads, and you got your hands in the air. Sugar Sean O'Malley, Shawnee Mack with Full Set MMA. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, brother.